as we go.
nail?
You know, last night we thought you had lipstick on your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, tonight I'm going to look at your nail and go, I think that nail's broken.
Ready?
Are we live now? It's a good way to do it. I like it. It's natural.
With the face, with the face.
With
the face on. Let's talk about eyes. Can you do the face?
No, I'm not doing it. Do you look at my eyes?
We're live. Are we live? Oh
my God.
Hey guys, good night. Welcome to Let's Talk About Ice. On Thursday night, 7 p.m. Queensland time. It's 7:15 and I'm really sorry because we're late.
We're late for a very important date.
We are. Should we talk about my nails? I'm like, you don't talk about my nails. We're here to talk about ice and we're here to talk about serious issues, Leanne. So stop it.
All right, so we'll take dominion over this, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we're taking dominion over this. See ya.
Okay. Guys, today we have a really packed show, and so we have some special guests on the show. We're doing something new. We are crossing over to Rockhampton very shortly, and we're crossing over to Brisbane, and we are going to be talking about family support today. So we're going to be talking about families that are going through trials and tribulation with their loved ones on ice, and it is a really hard topic to talk about for me anyway, because I'm the one, the accuser, you know. So I've brought some experts on the show, you know, and they deal with people daily, and they're going to be talking to you about the best way to cope and some strategies and some boundaries and some other awesome information. But before we do that, I just want to do a big shout out to the team that we're doing training on the Gold Coast at head office for the last 3 days, and we had some amazing presenters training up, and they're all in recovery, by the way, and we have presenters coming out to Hervey Bay and presenters coming out to Cairns, and we have 2 new presenters on the Gold Coast, and I can tell you what, Hervey Bay and Cairns, watch out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, these guys are passionate, you know, and they are so, you know, dedicated to really making a difference and warning people and our youth out there about the dangers of ice, and helping people that are in ice addiction create pathways into recovery. So you will be seeing them. They will be wearing AARC t-shirts. You can either look out for the NEO t-shirt, let me see, NEO, not even once, or Don't Mess with Meth, which you can buy on a website, but look out for the no ice symbol. So it's the I haven't got it on today. I've been sweating and training in it, but you will see them in your town. Please say hello, thank them for being there and doing the work that they do, because they are volunteering their time, and it's all in the name of education, and because they care, because they've been to the hell, and you know, they care and they want to make a difference to people's lives, you know, in their town. So Leanne is on the show tonight, and she's my right-hand person. I just can't do life without her. She was amazing at training today and making coffees and getting everybody organised.
As you do.
She doesn't stop. But she just doesn't not only stop in the office and with the team, she's always on the phone. Always on the phone. You can never get her. No, I'm kidding. Chatting. No.
Who's the pot called and the kettle black here?
But she's always on the phone, guys, taking calls from people in distress, wanting to know how they can help their loved ones through addiction. So we'll be chatting very shortly with you, Leanne, and I know some of the calls that you take. I hear some of them sometimes, and you know, I've worked with some families, but you know, our work is best done with the people in addiction. So all our presenters buddy up with people in addiction to help them get clean, and to create a new life. So together we can help both the families and the addicts. So before we go on, just want to do a big shout out to Brent Boardman from Eagle Trailers and Campers.
Brent.
Hi Brent, I'm sure you're on the show. Brent and Eagle Trailers and Campers, they are our corporate sponsors for our new Neo brand, and we are preparing to launch the full range. So we're going to have signature brand of Neo t-shirts, singlets, and the caps, which I've shown you a little bit before, some key rings, some mugs, but there's going to be a gym range that we're going to be putting into gyms. So, and
Jim
those...
will like that.
No, workout gyms, Leanne.
Of course.
Jim would like. Well, this range, it's going to be a signature range. So we're going to have some sporting celebrities are going to sign these T-shirts and caps. And
Hope their name's not Jim.
No, they're not Jim. I can tell you one of the names. We're going to have Ian Jacobs, world kickboxing champion.
Okay.
Yep, he's going to be signing some of our, well, he's already started signing some of our T-shirts and caps. So if you're a kickboxing fan, get in touch with us. You want to get a signature range cap and a T-shirt. And we also have someone really special, which I'm not allowed to tell yet, and I'm busting to tell. But we have some people in Surf Pro that are looking at getting involved. We've got NRL players that are coming on board. So, and I'm looking for a golfer, and we're talking to some tennis people. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, I know.
Yay.
It's like amazing. It's
curious.
good because in Unity, guys, we do more. Yeah. So the aim is to launch the brand, and so that the funds from the brand come back to fund what we do at AARC. Yeah, in every state. So we've got a team down in Melbourne, in Adelaide, on the Gold Coast, up in Cairns, and
nearly at Harvey Bay.
Nearly at Harvey Bay. That's right. We're getting there. So I wanted to do that shout out to Brent. We're really, really grateful for the opportunity to be able to launch this, and we look forward to doing some stuff together with Brent and Eagle Trailers and Campers. And also a big shout out to Andrew Ford from Mariba Ford up in Cairns, because they continuously support AARC and the program there. The guys with the C at Mariba, they're doing an incredible job. We're preparing to do the Paint the State AARC art competition. So that's going to be exciting, and all the youth and in the schools are going to get involved, and they're going to be able to paint and do some art pieces with the message, not even once. So we look forward to seeing those, and the Rotaries are getting involved up there, so it's very exciting what's going on up there.
Wow.
So thank you, Andrew, for participating in that and sponsoring the schools up there. We're really, really, really grateful.
Thanks.
So I will be introducing our new presenters a little bit later today, maybe even tomorrow, on our Facebook page. So keep an eye out, and please encourage them, guys.
Yep.
They're really stepping out and sharing their hearts, sharing their life, sharing their journey. It's not an easy job, and many times brings them to tears, and they're working through stuff, how to do that without going back there and crying and having to walk through it all again. But they really need your encouragement. So just when I do put them up, do a big shout out to them and send them some love.
So very proud of them.
So our next major event, we've got a major event happening on the 9th of March, and it's our race day at the Gold Coast Turf Club. So the Gold Coast Turf Club have come on board as partners with AARC. We're doing a massive race. We're going to have an AARC racing horse, and they're coming down the race track at the end. Nay! They don't neigh when they race. I look forward to seeing an AARC T-shirt on the horse, and we have Jason Maskill, who is going to be racing on the AARC horse. And Jason is a recovered ice addict. He had an amazing career, and we'll be sharing some more information on that next week, because Brent and Sean and Chrissy from KB Supplies, who are organising that race day, will be on the show next week to chat a bit about it. But both Tony, I've got to remember his surname. He won the Melbourne Cup. Anyway, they're both in recovery, and they are kicking goals in recovery, and they are racing again, and they're going to be coming down for the race day, one from New Zealand and the other one from Melbourne, and they will be racing an ARC horse. It's going to be so awesome.
Oh, wow.
And we've got some really major sponsors coming, and we'll have some auctions on the day, which we might do a live cross on, so keep an eye out. If you're lucky, we've got some amazing memorabilia coming up, so we'll share that next week.
Yep.
And guys, just to remind you, if you want to do your workshop in your school, in your community, in your workplace, please get in touch with us. We have some information we'd like to send out to you, and we can send out a booking form. The schools are booking again already for this year. Don't miss out, okay? Equip your kids, and don't think it's not going to happen in your school. Don't think it's not going to happen in your community. ICE is out there. It is destroying families. You know, we're taking an abundant amount of calls daily, and it's rising. So please protect your kids by parents or teachers, as we saw last week's show. Parents, teachers, and police officers telling the kids don't do drugs. It's not working, right? So I encourage you to get in touch with us and find out what we do, and come and have a look. Come to see a workshop if you can, and get the information, also the testimonials from the teachers. Ring the schools that we've been to. Have a look at what we do, and protect your kids against the dangers of ICE.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Leanne, first I want to chat with you for 1 second. Okay. Talk to me. I've heard you on the phone day and day again, and you're always on the phone. But you know, it's so intense. The work that you do. You've got families calling you. Please tell me what kind of questions are these? You know, what are these families calling for, and how do we help them?
I mean, people see me as a happy-go-lucky, joking, muck around a bit, and I think that's what keeps my sanity. Because I do get a lot of serious calls, especially today, crying with the mum today, and I genuinely feel for their hearts. I personally am not a mother who's experienced a child in addiction, but I have experienced a sister in addiction, and I can only imagine how difficult it is for parents, and they call me when they're at the end of their tether. They have nowhere else to go. They may have been pushed from this pillar to that post through government agencies and organisations, and so they hear about AAIC mostly through friends. One lady actually said, I don't know why, I was on Facebook and all of a sudden AAIC just came up, and so she thought she had nothing to lose, and she called us. And so I just listened to their story and listened with a big heart. And basically I can then think, when I get to meet and get to know our support, our buddies, our presenters, I then know which, and also with family support, like what Debbie does, like Kylea, who's more clinical, but even Tim, a shout out to Tim on the Sunshine Coast north of Brisbane. He does an absolutely amazing job when I send family members to him, because he's also a very good listener, and can then guide them in teaching them about enabling and not enabling, because these parents who have been there with their loved ones in addiction and gotten through the other side, they can share their mistakes, they can share their highs, their lows, and they know exactly. They've walked, you know, there's a saying, an old American Indian saying that says, you cannot judge unless you walk 5 miles in my moccasins. And that's so true. And we said, because it's a South American, so it's got to be moccasins, you know.
India, thongs in South America.
Okay, in Australia we'd say, you don't know what I've been through, mate, till you walk 5 miles in my thongs, right? It's true. It's very true. Getting back to the seriousness of it, you don't know unless you've walked there with them, you know.
And so what happens when families call you? I know you know, you listen to them, you know, you comfort them, you pray for them, but then you connect them with services.
Yes, I do. I connect them not only with a lived experience parent buddy, family member buddy. I also send them information through, thankfully, that George through Optimal Health has helped us with, as well as sending them some, I send them sometimes some YouTube videos. I get them to watch the Let's Talk About ICE programs and get them to send those programs to their loved ones in addiction, because when they watch, and I've had mothers say this, that once my child has watched a couple of these episodes, that gives them a light. It gives them it gives them hope, you know, in a world where it seems hopeless for them. So
awesome. So can we cross over, Brad, across to Debbie?
Hi, Deb.
Welcome on the show, Deb.
Welcome, Deb.
And for those of you that
Thanks for
don't know
asking.
Deb, Deb is from ICE Support CQ up in Rockhampton, and Deb has taken our team up there. We did an amazing forum together, and you know she's continuously, she's always online and she's always helping people, and she has the biggest heart. I
Yes.
just, you know, so much love pouring out of this person. Rockhampton, you are blessed to have her. So welcome on the show, Deb.
Hey, thanks for asking me. It's great. Yeah. And I've got to say, mentioning the forum back in 2016, that really has opened up the can of worms up this way. And people still talk about it today, how they didn't understand at all. But after that forum, it really touched their hearts. So thank you for coming up.
Thank you for taking us up there and for doing things in unity, and that's what it's all about. You know, I think if we can, around Australia, unite in this fight against ICE, and I see you doing that all the time, Deb, you know, connecting with the services and saying, guys, come on, let's do this together. It's not a competition. There's so much, people need so much help out there, and we can just, you know, unite and do this. Do as much as we can to help this the people through this epidemic. Okay. So
And that's
I've put together. Sorry.
I said that's true because everyone can offer something, and so if we work together, it's got to have a better outcome for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell the people out there on our Facebook, the kind of work that you do there and that you're finding in your
Sure.
community?
Yeah, so what we do, we run a family support group, which used to be every second Thursday night at the community centre. And our first year was really busy, and so we were able to have presenters come along, like the police, the ambulance, other organisations to explain to families, answer questions that they may have. We found that last year we weren't quite as busy, but having said that, I've sort of increased my website, so I think they're getting a lot more information through the website and through the Facebook.
Awesome.
This year we're actually going to work on every first Saturday morning and every third Thursday evening to have our support meetings to try and reach out to families who perhaps can't come in the evening but might come for a couple of hours on a Saturday morning.
Awesome. So what kind of things happen in this support group meeting, Deb? Like, what can parents expect? You know, a lot of parents are a bit afraid to kind of open up in public and kind of, you know, there's a bit of shame attached with that. Maybe you want to kind of paint a picture on, you know, what that's like if they turn up.
Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest or the biggest reason why people don't come. It's probably is the shame factor, or they may see someone across the table that they know, that they don't want them to know their story. It's very heart-wrenching for a lot of them. So we try and get them to at least come in the door. If they come in the door, that's the hardest hurdle for them. And then I guess we really strive on giving them information, i.e. your information about the AAIC, any local support services that can help them. We try and make them understand that it's not their fault, it's okay to say you're not okay. And we have plenty of tissues on hand.
Yeah.
It's about love, isn't it? Loving them through it, and it's not their fault. You know, there's nothing that, you know, we work with you know, people in addiction day in day out, and you know, it doesn't discriminate. It's not just people that, you know, have had it hard with families, or their families got divorced, or they, you know, they were bashed as kids, or they were, you know, they had it hard up. It's not. It's from all walks of life, and it doesn't reflect, you know, from your upbringing. And it's, you know, once families get that, you know, this is happening more and more across the board, and that it's not their fault, and then they can look at the tools rationally without, you know, bringing it upon themselves.
Yeah, and I think they are, they're really shattered by the time they come to the group.
Yeah.
And all they want to do is save their loved one. Like, that's what we all do. We all want to save. But we have learnt over the last couple of years that you can try and save them as long as you don't enable them. So, however, it's all right for us to say don't enable them. And we always, because we're not counsellors, we always let them know that there's no right or wrong decision. They have to do what is right for them. They have to sleep well at night with the decision they make for for themselves. We can only share our stories of what we've done and what we haven't done, who we've seen, who we haven't seen, but we do encourage them to make their own decision.
So you mentioned enabling them. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that means? Because some people are not quite sure what does enabling mean.
What does it mean? Yeah, so we have found that someone in addiction is extremely creative, manipulative, that's the word, and they seem to target the most vulnerable, which is usually mum. So they'll say anything that they like or anything that they think you want to hear to get what they want. And generally what they want is money.
Yep.
So we sort of try and encourage them, okay, don't give them money, but if you have to buy them food, or like I used to buy my son a pizza. I still buy him a pizza. But I order the pizza and it gets delivered to his house. So he couldn't have sold that for drugs or anything. He had to eat it.
Yes.
You don't pay their rent and all that sort of stuff. But you do get torn between wanting to help them, wanting to keep a roof over their head, and also not helping them too much. So, yeah, it's hard.
It's a really tough, it's a really tough line, Deb, because you, as parents, and I'm a mum, you love your kids to death, and you don't want them to hurt, and I remember I've worked with a family who had a young son who was in addiction. He had come in the house and bashed the other brother, put him in hospital. Night 2, I'm on the phone with her. I said, look, make it clear that while he's in addiction, while he's using, and if he's not prepared to go into detox and recovery, he's not welcome in the house. Well, he slept on the porch and it was raining that night and she was crying and she's on the phone with me and she's saying, but he's cold and he's on the concrete, and I'm like, persevere with this, hang in there. The next day he made the decision that he was going to go into rehab. So it's not always like that, unfortunately. Deb, is it? And we, the parents have to watch them, hurt again and again and again, and sometimes it takes a lot longer for some, to make that choice, and it's painful.
Yeah, but we've sort of been talking lately that after a while you put up a wall yourself, and I think that's called self-preservation,
Yes.
where instead of having a meltdown yourself when the phone rings, you're very monotone. When I used to get the calls of suicide or all those sorts of things, I ended up saying, walk it off or present at the hospital. Because I knew if I had hopped in the car and gone, I would have got a mouthful of abuse and some.
Yep.
So, and that was hard too. But we just try and let people know that that's where we've been, that's our journey. I'm a lucky mum because, my son's over 2 years in recovery and working again and all sweet. But there are some families who have maybe been recovered, have lapsed, they're still on that roller coaster and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your son's been clean now for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
What can you suggest to families that has helped him stay clean? Like, what would you say if you had to say?
The biggest thing.
So sorry.
The biggest thing is to remove yourself from that circle of people. I won't use the word circle of friends because I've always said they're not your friends.
Frenemies.
That's right. They're all a means to an end. So if you can remove yourself, you've got a better chance.
Yep. That's correct.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's so true. Debbie, I have some questions here for you that during the week people have been asking us, and I thought I'd just put it out there for you. So, what's the biggest mistake that parents make when they're trying to help their loved ones that are on ice?
They try and save them.
Yeah.
You know, they try and do everything for them. I guess they treat them like little kids. You know, instead of saying they have to actually take responsibility for themselves, they just try and save them, and that's just natural. That's what you're going to do. So until you can come to terms with that in yourself and step back a bit, you'll always try and help them. But we tell them, you know, stepping back doesn't mean stop loving them.
That's
It
right.
just means stop handing over the money. Stop, you know, stop letting them sleep in your house, but they're still carrying on their habit downstairs. You know,
Yep.
Yeah, you just have to set, and that's where we go into boundaries. You just have to set some rules for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, in saying that, like, I know I work with the addict, and I, you know, people often say, you know, the addict will go, oh, but I don't have a car, and, you know, I can't get there to the AA meeting or to, you know, to the meeting with you. And I go, listen here, if you wanted to score, you'd find a way to get there. Whether it was on the other side of the suburbs, you know, 40 minutes away, you'd find a way to get there, right? And they go, yeah, I guess you're right. I know you can't lie because we've been in the same walk. So, you know, the parents need to understand that. I think that, you know, we're very creative. You know, people in ice addiction are very creative, and they're overcomers, and they will find a way. So when they you know, come through recovery, they're amazing people to work with, you know, because when they get on the right track, you know, they're just focused, and they'll find a way to overcome. They're very creative because they've been creative through addiction, and, you know, so I guess, you know, what we say to the parents is, you know, don't let them manipulate you like that, because they'll find a way. If they're in addiction, they'll find a way to get it. So if they want recovery, you know, they need to also do some work for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing.
I guess as parents, our biggest question always is why. You know, we always hear that it's such a great, you know, when they're on the drug, it's just so fantastic. I mean, how do you fight against that? How do you encourage them that it's not really that fantastic? I mean, look at your family, look what it's done.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the mentality, and how do you change that?
Yeah, I think it's they can't see the damage because the frontal lobe of the brain's not working. So the processing part of logic, rational decision, and seeing things for reality, they're living in another realm where they can't see anybody else except for themselves. So for that moment while they're hitting up, it feels really, really good because you're high temporarily, but then on the come down, you know, you just got to keep chasing that. But they don't see you, they don't see the damage. And I think that, you know, people like that have been on that walk and that have come through recovery can sit with people in addiction and go, hey, I've been there and I know what's about to happen, and I know where you're going because I've been in jail, or I've been in the mental health institute, and, you know, my friend died the other day, and, you know, I had to bury him, and that's, you know, that's the reality of it, mate. Oh, I've got kidney problems, I've got heart problems. Is that what you want? Like, and put everything in front of their face. Like, you know, I've even taken pictures of what they were like before and say, you know, this is what you were like. Look at you. You know, look at what's going. Because I got nothing to lose. You know, and being straight with that person. You know, our team, our presenters, our, you know, buddies don't have anything to lose. So I encourage families, you know, to call on you know, some buddies, you know, to come and step in and help if you can, because, you know, they can't put wool over our eyes. You know, we've kind of been on that walk, and really that's the only extra thing that we can recommend is, you know, bringing forward to them, and like a mirror. This is what you're doing. This is what you've lost your job. You're homeless. You know, you're weighing 40 kilos. You're a mess. You've destroyed. And you know, a lot of some of the presenters we were training today, they made their decision to change when they really tapped in, you know, to the pain they caused, you know, their parent. One of the girls today was saying in her story that, you know, when her kids got taken away from her and her mum was leaving, the final look that her mum gave her in her eyes and really locked in, she said, I thought I'd never see her again, and I had done it. And she said, in that moment I knew I had to change things. So, you know, hang in there, parents, you know, keep pushing. But I think you can't see that you look terrible. You can't see that your life's falling apart. And you may for a split second, but it goes away because of the drug masks it. But, you know, as parents and loved ones, I think it's important to keep showing them. You know, this is what you could have, this is what you did have, but this is what you are becoming, and this is what is going on, really. So just keep bringing it and saying you're worth more than that. Like,
At this point, I'd like to just remind people, if they do need family support, please call our family support number on 0481. I'll get Brad to put it up on the screen. 844 555. And we can lead you to some family support parents, as we said earlier.
and can you put up Debbie's family support number as well, please, Brad?
Yep,
Thank
I
you.
did that earlier.
Yep, awesome. So some of the other questions, Debbie, were what's a safe boundary? You know, we get asked that a lot. What's a safe boundary to have with your loved one? Like, how do you know that, you know, if you're talking suicide and you go, you know, I'm sorry, I can't answer you at 2 a.m. Is that a safe boundary? Like, how do you know where that line is? It's a tough question.
Look, it is. And when I found when that was put to me, like I said, go for the walk, present at ED, but then you would go to bed praying that you never got that knock on the door.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing else you can do. Like, sure, you can let them in or you can sit with them and console them. I personally wouldn't let them in the house.
No.
I would stay outside with them, you know, and of course show them that you still care and love them and whatever, as long as they're not verbally or physically abusing you, because once they do it once, I feel it would just continue.
Yes.
And so they have to be some sort of responsible for their own actions.
Absolutely. They
But
have
the
to want
suicide
it.
thing, that's scary.
Yeah. And we can't be responsible, nobody can be responsible for somebody else, you know, and the choices that they make, you know, unfortunately, and it's tough for the family to detach from that, you know, as you would know. You know, I hear Leanne talking and families, you know, having that struggle, so it's a really tough question. So the next question we got was, how can a family best help their loved ones through ice addiction? So what would you suggest, how can a family best help their loved one?
I would say never give up on them.
Yep.
And make sure that they know that you'll never give up on them. Always have phone numbers, help them to appointments if you have to, you know, because I know they can't keep appointments, even though government thinks they can, they can't.
Yeah.
And you know, just support them as best you can. But I think the best way they can help their loved one is to make sure they're looking after themselves.
That's
Because
right.
that's what we say, to help others, you first must be able to help yourself. If you don't look after yourself, you're no good to anybody.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So you got to put
and
your
you have to
mask on
be
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, that's where it comes from, believe it or not.
Yep.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah. But that's so true, because if you're not okay, how can you, you know, how can you think rationally when you're under, you know, the stress? So you've got to do as much as you can to, you know, to keep that peace within, and so you can think rationally and logically, because they can't think for themselves. So that,
And
that
see,
they
the other
need
thing
you.
too, if you know, if you've got more than one child, you've got to also take into account what they're feeling and what their needs are. The person in addiction seems to get all the attention, and then that just causes another problem. So, You have to have time for everybody.
Absolutely, and I don't know how you do it, Deb. You've got time for everybody. I just don't know how you do that. So it always blows me away. And then this girl too, like you know, all these family support people out there. They're continuously on the phone
Great
and helping
job.
people. I just love your heart. And I know I've been there. I've seen you. I've hugged you. You give it all, you know. And yeah, my hat goes off to you. Continue pushing forward and helping more families. So, guys, if you need family support and you're around the Rockhampton area, I support CQ. You need to give Debbie a call. Her number is 0458 449 335. Hope I got that right, 'cause it's far away and I
Yes,
haven't
you
got
did.
my glasses on.
Well done. Well done.
So do you
Well
have any
done.
other questions for Debbie?
No, but I'd like to thank Deb for being there for support for us
Yeah.
and helping us along, and probably have more contact with each other in the coming days, Deb, because I've had a lot more people ringing in, especially loved ones. So, and we'll introduce you to Corinne, who's going to be working with us close near your place, that we trained up this week. She's a beautiful, beautiful soul.
Amazing
And
presenter.
Amazing presenter, and she's just going to knock Harvey Bay to Rockhampton and beyond.
Yeah. So she'll be available up
So,
there.
yep.
I guess before we go, and we're going to cross over to Kylia, who's a counsellor that works with us. Is there anything else that you want to say, Deb, before we go? Any final comments that you want to give to families out there?
No, like I said, I think just try and look after yourself. Take some time for yourself. And look, if you do ring our number or you send a text, of course I work full time, so just leave me a name and your number, and I'll definitely give you a call back. Okay? Otherwise, you can look up isupportcq.org.
Awesome.
We'll help you wherever we can.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me on your show. And thanks for all keeping in contact. If we all work together, we've got to have better outcomes.
Yes, we
That's
do.
it. Thanks, Deb. Thanks for being
Thanks,
on the
Deb.
show. God bless you.
Thanks, Leanne.
See you soon.
See you later.
God bless. Bye.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
That was awesome,
It
wasn't
was
it?
good to have
What do you think?
Deb on the show.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's been, what, a year and a half maybe since, has it?
I
2
think-
years maybe.
It might be 2 years.
Since we
Yeah.
did the forum up in Rockhampton, and we've worked with some families up there, and it was a great trip up there. We had Channel 9 involved, and we had I think about 250 people at the forum. All the service providers came together. You know, that Debbie brought everybody together.
Wow, amazing.
From Primary Health Network to council, and you know, the council there, they're all very, very helpful, and they work in unity.
Yes.
And that's what it's about, guys. You know, it's about working in unity. Everybody's got something to give, whether it's lived experience, you know, in addiction, whether it's lived experience as a family member, whether it's not lived experience, but you've got, you know, some skill set that you want to participate and give back in. You might, you know, be an accountant or a financial planner or fundraiser or an event organizer or administration, or you might not know what your skill set is, but you want to help and you want to do something. There's always something, you know. At the race day, we're going to be needing some volunteers out there with some tins, collecting donations. So we are an unfunded charity, and we rely on donations to keep us afloat. So, you know, if you want to see AARC continue its great work, you have an opportunity to donate and to sow into what we do. And every $10 helps us get this message across to one youth in a high school, you know, or a club. Sometimes we're working with clubs now as well.
Yes.
So we have been talking to the QRL about rolling out our workshops within clubs, and we're really excited about that, because see, our heart is about getting the message across to more people, isn't it, Leanne?
It absolutely is. And guys, if you do want to donate, go to our website on www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au and click on the Give Now on the side. You'll see it as you look around and scroll around our website.
Or they can join the
Or
army.
they can join the army. I was going to,
So I'll tell you what, can I tell them?
Yeah, of course, why not?
When you join the army, there's 3 things you can do in the army. So you become an ambassador, okay? You are part of the army in the fight against ICE.
Yes.
And there's 3 things you need to do in the army. The first thing is to sign a petition that we're sending off to government saying our kids need real education on this matter.
Mm-hmm.
What they've got out there is not working, so we are pushing that forward to government. The second thing, you can donate, or you can volunteer, isn't it?
That's right.
I think there's 3 things.
Yeah.
I forget what's on there.
You can regularly give.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can do a once-off donation.
yeah.
Or
Sign the petition. But there's
sign the petition.
Something else.
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
okay.
You've got it.
Oh, we've got bottles. If you've got bottles.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Where's
I didn't.
you
Oh,
didn't
the
bring
leaflet.
it, did you?
Well,
Okay.
I have. It's in my bag, and I didn't.
I think we showed it
pull
last
out.
week, but
We did.
It's on our Facebook, and
Yes.
we'll put it up after this. So, if you drink from plastic bottles and there's 10 cents refund, guys, you can save that all in
And
a bag.
cans.
And you take, and cans.
Yes,
okay.
and cans.
You can't squash them, okay, and you have to take the lid off.
Yes.
But if you bag them in bags of 50,
Yes.
On some information we're going to put forward, we'll give you a number, and if you write the number on the bag, and they then forward the amount of money from that bag to ARC to help us do what we do. So if you have lots of bottles, if you work in a pub, in an RSL, in somewhere that you have lots of bottles, plastic bottles and cans, and you think, hey, I can put them aside and I can help ARC this way. Don't forget, have a look on for the number. Do you know the number off the top of your head?
What, the code?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good,
You're
but
so
I'm not that good.
You know everything. Trust me, she knows everything.
No, well, even perfection has its moments. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble.
Brad, do we have Collier ready?
What's happening? I'm sitting.
We had her there, and then she cut it off. I'm trying to get in
Oh, we're having a bit of problem.
I've sent her a text quickly as
Yep.
we were talking
Yeah, the
here.
camera was working. I could see her bed, and then she moved the camera and turned it
Oh,
off.
okay. So do you want me to say try again?
Try again?
Well, I could text her and say try again.
Okay. So we're just trying to connect with Kalia, and Kalia does a lot of counselling, and she's amazing. She's, she's had family members go through addiction, and she is a counsellor, and she's got a lot of DIPs and JPs, things at the end of the name,
Letters.
But she's amazing,
Dips and
just
dops
to sit
and-
there and talk to her.
Yeah.
And she really does help a lot of people, not only in addiction, but also family members, and not just through addiction and families, but also people that are going through stuff. She's such an incredible support. And we're really, really blessed to have her on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
She's come back to the Gold Coast.
From India.
And she's been in India, but she's
yeah.
also been working
Here we
in
go.
Cairns.
We've got her.
There she is.
Where is she? Oh, there's Kalia.
Can you put her on the big screen? Because we can only see
We
the little one.
can only see the little. Hi, Kalia. Can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear her. People can hear her. But, oh.
There we go.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Hello. You're on live now.
Hi, thank you. That's the best I can do at the moment because I'm travelling and my camera's stuck on the opposite side.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Kalia, for joining us on the show. I'm really grateful that you took
Can
the
you
time
hear me
while you're
okay?
travelling. Sorry?
Can you see me okay?
Yes, you
Yes.
look beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. Radiant.
So, Kalia, welcome to Let's Talk About ICE. We've just had some time with Debbie from ICE Up, I Support CQ in Rockhampton, and they do a lot of family support from lived experience, like peer family support. And they, do work in that area of Rockhampton, and we are just so blessed to have you back on the Gold Coast after, you've been up in Cairns doing some work, but we're just so excited that you're back here with us on the Gold Coast. But we kind of touched on, some of the work that Debbie was doing up there. You're a little bit different. You do a lot of counselling with people, and I know that we have passed on, and our Facebook often does shout outs, if you need family support or you need some counselling, get in touch with us. And I've got some questions, I kind of want to know, because I'm on the other side, I'm the person, that the families come to you about. So, I want to know, what kind of questions and how do families come to you? I know they call you, but they're pretty broken when they speak to us. And how do you work with them?
Well, thanks, Andrea, for that introduction. And it's both of you two girls that have really, been able to pass people on to me. It's very hard for people to find support. They don't know who to ring, where to go. They've often found that if they go to the more traditional ACODS type approach, that there's often intake forms and things like that for their loved ones. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for something more relational, and they're often in crisis when they ring me to family members.
Yeah, and it's I think the clinical term of help that's out there is just not enough anymore, Kalia. People they've tried that, it hasn't worked, and they're looking for a different approach, and that's why I really believe in what you do, and what George does, and our clinical ARC team, because they have a holistic approach, in relation to counselling and recovery, and also counselling the families. So what does that look like, Kalia? Like, what kind of support can you give a family member that has got a loved one in addiction?
Yeah, well, they're really hungry for information. That's probably as important as having someone actually care about them and hear them and feel their pain. So yeah, a lot happens in the phone call. I definitely just listen to them because they've often been locked up. The family members, there's such a stigma on ICE. People think it's a lower intellect, lower socioeconomic type of drug use and abuse, but it's all walks. All groups. And so they've often kept it clandestine and quiet for years. So for them to actually unburden and unbuckle their belt, so to speak, and just let it out with a confidential phone call, they're often weeping within 10 minutes from the pressure that's built up in them to talk to someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really lucky because we're trained well. I have top praise for George and his dual diagnosis training. I really recommend that highly to anybody. I've done my training in the science of human behaviour and counselling, but nothing prepared me for how to address these broken-hearted family members that really truly love their loved one, and they've often been doing the wrong thing. Some of them are awake up and with their loved ones by giving them and trying to keep them alive off their own back. But a lot of them also are aware of their enabling, and they're ready to take on as many tools as they can. So people love the word tools that we can provide for them, specialised ways and means of coping.
So are you saying that families are aware that they are enabling their loved ones when they call you?
Probably about half the families,
Yeah.
Yeah, about half the families, because a lot of people, they don't want their child to die. And these people or their partner, and often they're either in their health degraded, or they're also threatening suicide. So that's often a way for people to pay for their food, cigarettes, accommodation, shower them, pay their car bills. The impact is ginormous. I've heard stories from some people, like one old lady had to take her handbag every time she went to the toilet. And her 40, 50-year-old son ended up taking the roofing iron off the house to get in because she refused him to enter into her home anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you're going to say it, Andrea, I can hear you. So what are boundaries?
Yeah. What are boundaries? Like, what do you do? Like, what would you say to a parent like that? Where's that line, Kalia? Like, that's the question that most families out there are going, I love my child, but, I can't not answer them. I can't not feed them. I can't. Where is that line?
Yeah, well, we can be dysfunctional sometimes and a little bit broken ourselves in trying to mend other people. So we teach them to be the healthiest person that they can possibly be, to help their loved one, and that means boundaries, which George so beautifully quotes out from someone else's writings, I don't know who, that boundaries are the invisible fences of love. They're the parameters of healthy relationships. So we're hoping here that people will get engaged in learning what boundaries are and how to set them. We can actually tell you just 3 things that there's only 3 takeaway things from this talk today. It's about how to keep your love on in relationship, not to have fear provoking you and that making you want to enable them through sheer fear of them dying or getting worse. So when you keep your love on, which is the opposite to keeping your fear on, you keep your love on, you keep these 3 things. 1, warm connection. So you keep your manners with them. You don't lose you don't stop loving them and stop being polite to them and courteous and respectful. So you keep your warm connection. That's number 1. Number 2 is a really clear communication.
Yeah.
So they don't doubt, they don't have to wonder what you're saying, no double messages, or no unfinished explanations of what you want, what you don't want. And the third one is the boundaries, the healthy, strong boundaries that you must keep vigilantly.
So what are some of the boundaries, Kalia, that parents should be considering?
Good question. So each case is different, Andrea, as you have found out. I know both you and Leanne talk and walk with these members. So it's a very sensitive case from each one. So mostly boundaries are pulling back on the money.
Yep.
It's interesting because even the beggars in India, where I've been for the last 2 months, if you keep giving them money, they keep doing what they've always done, and they often spend it on things that aren't good. So we buy food for them. So little things like that. Not always paying for their bills. Boundaries aren't always defined as paying for them. Sometimes it's about saying, I've had enough of paying for you. I really care about you and I want you to feel. One of the best things I can suggest is with loved ones is a contract. So that if the person says that they're a drug addict, that they're going to get help today, they sign a contract. And you can hang in there as a parent or a wife or a husband. And usually a written contract's really good, but sometimes it can be verbal. And they ring that rehab and they into a detoxifying rehab situation for a long time, hopefully 6 months, something like that. Or if they don't want to sign a paper saying they're an ice addict, then you can say, well, then look after yourself.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, I love the contract.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah.
So like a working contract. So I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to allow this to happen. Is that like what you mean?
Yeah, well, they do it with teenagers in school.
Yeah.
Teenagers really respond well to contract. So, I mean, that's very official and a bit clinical, but it works for some people. So that's why I'm saying every case is case sensitive and you have to individualise what the person needs. I knew one woman and she had 3 of her 4 sons, all ice addicts, 2 extremely so, and the third one just starting. And she came to one of our family support group nights, and she and her husband were both upper middle class business owners, and she was ready to get a portable home that she could lock them all up. But I tried to explain, and she understood too, that they'd still come out addicts because it's the pain that keeps them addicts. So it's about trying to help your loved one get into a rehab, get into the counselling, and find out what's causing all this turmoil in their emotions and esteem.
That's awesome. That's great advice, Kalia. I've got some questions that I prepared earlier, which are some of the most common questions that people ask us, family members, ask. So one of them was, what's the biggest mistake that parents make when they're trying to help their loved ones that are on ice?
That's a really good question. You prepared that, did you? What's the biggest mistake is caving into fear. And it's so easy to cave into fear. And I know this is hard and I don't want to offend anybody, but sometimes it's narcissistic and codependent to just want to pacify and please other people. It's because we feel that they're going to get angry with us or not like us or make us feel guilty that we're not good enough as a parent, wife, husband. So it's about not caving into fear, but to recognize it's a loving thing to do. The right thing to do doesn't always feel loving or right, but it will be logical and safe for them and you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. So we spoke a bit about boundaries. What are boundaries?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to have boundaries even for yourself. I don't know about you, but if I buy some boxes of chocolates, it's really easy to have, you know, too many per day. So it's about self-discipline, self-control, and it's about living within the healthiest reality. And the healthiest reality is that sugar is harmful, the doses. So the same applies with your loved ones. If you keep buying them the cigarettes they can't afford or paying for their car regos or pretending it's not a big deal what they're doing, in denial yourself of their behaviour, or even overreacting. It's about becoming aware of what the truth is and what is real. The boundaries is about being a protective soul, a realistic, protective, caring person. So it's about a constant study.
And you have recommended to me before, and I know many times I've, with myself, have had to learn boundaries, and I'm still learning boundaries. There's a book that people can read if they need one, that you often recommend. It's called Boundaries.
By
Who
John
writes it?
Townsend and Henry Cloud.
Yeah.
It's been around for 25, 30 years. And you can actually get online and go to YouTube and find out many things about boundaries. I recommend a book called Keep Your Love On by Dick Sharp, I think it's Bruce Sharp. Keep Your Love On.
Yeah, I think you brought some information into the office about that
Mm.
before. And see, guys, if you're looking for a counsellor, Kylie is the person to go and see. She has all these resources. She's read them. She's studied that. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and she's always wanting to help people out there. And can we put up, Brad, Kylie's contact number? Kylie, the name of your counselling service?
That's a good question. I would like to rename it actually. Just let me heal you. There is so much healing out there available. People don't need to feel like it's navigating a swamp. There is some solid principles of life that can really work for you. So, and nothing's too hard, and people can change. And we need to be the very best person we can be for our loved ones. I highly recommend working with yourself so that you can do everything you can possibly do for them. You still have to benefit your own life too.
And for our own lives, that's right. Kylie, what's the number that people can contact you on if they're looking for some counselling service?
Well, probably the email would be the best at the moment.
And that would be?
So, well, Kalia Flower, Kylea Flower @gmail.com.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
So if you're looking for some
You're welcome.
counselling, Collier has a lot of experience, and specifically with people in addiction and families needing help. We are talking about ICE tonight. We're talking about, let's talk about ICE and family support. So Collier has a lot of experience. She comes in once a week into the office now, and she's available to do some counselling with families. And also, if you're in addiction, you want to do some counselling, you think, I'm going to go on the tripod system of support while I'm waiting for my rehab to open up. because sometimes it's hard to get into rehab, please connect. And there's the email up there. Just let me heal you, kyliaflower@gmail.com. So give Kylie a call. Kylie, I have a couple more questions for you before we wrap up.
We've already asked that, have we?
Do families feel
that's
the
it.
public stigma
Yeah.
in relation to, to having loved ones in
Yes,
ice addiction?
yes, they're ashamed. So many parents, especially. So the majority of people that come to me are women. I'd say about 80%. I've had a couple of fathers with their daughters, but yeah, there's terrible embarrassment for people. They really keep it secret and silent. That's what I've noticed. And then there's also the stigma that people sometimes feel like they are responsible in some way. What did they not do for their child? So it's really important to understand how to release and heal guilt. And I just want to clarify the name of my business, Let Me Heal You. It's not me that does the healing, it's us that does the healing. It's working collaboratively with whoever I'm working with. Let Me Heal You is more a statement that someone cares about you and can help you to heal your, in your own way, in your own time,
That's awesome.
with help.
Thanks for clarifying that. So when people come and they have that stigma, and sometimes they're ashamed to contact, a family support group or a counsellor, because they feel like it's their fault and they don't want to talk about it, but they're suffering and and there's a lot of symptoms, associated with that, anxiety and depression and weight loss. I mean, how do we push through? How do families push through that? Emotional state to, like, what could you say to families out there that maybe they're considering getting help, but they're feeling all of that?
Well, as you well know, Andrea, there's only a small group of people that actually seek help and recover from full ice addiction. There's still a lot that are stuck in a cycle of addiction. So it's a very sad time. I think that people need to learn how to grieve and be sad. So it's about understanding that they're actually emotionally hurting themselves at the loss of their loved one, because I often say to them, your loved one's still the beautiful person that they were. But the drug has realigned and changed their personality into another personality over the top.
That's what I say.
It's just loving the original person. And to mourn it, it has to increase, like, as we're going through awakening. So much that person is getting to recover. That's why we have the cost versus benefit chart.
Yeah.
I love how you say that, Kylie. If I can just say that, when you said it's not the person, because that's exactly what I say to them as well when I'm on the phone with them. It's the drug that's broken the brain. We go to a doctor when we have a broken arm. The doctor fixes it. Sometimes it has to be in a cast to mend. And it's like our brain with the drug. It's not the person. It's what the drug has done to them. So their loved one is in there somewhere. So that was just beautiful. Yeah.
True, well said. And we need to get that message out there. So I'm so glad you've got that analogy. That's lovely.
So how do families still talk with their loved ones that are in addiction from a place of love, Kylie? Like, there's often a lot of fear, some families have been physically abused, and there's anger sometimes associated with that. How do they continue, to show love, to speak to their loved ones?
Yes, good point. That's a really good question. Andrea, excellent. So every ice addict is an individual as well.
Yeah.
They all have personalities that differ from one to the other, even though the symptoms of like taking is common. There's the homicidal, suicide, crazy raving, paranoia, hallucination, all these sort of things. They're commonalities. The actual person, some are peaceful, some are passive, some are sweet. Some are dangerous and nasty. So it again is a sensitive case, and each one. So I'm thinking that with that question, it's a case of if I'm talking with them, it's about working out ways and means that they can cope. I've had one mother. She had to write a letter and just say, "I don't want to see you for 6 months." She just needed a break to bring her own immune system back up to healthy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's okay to
another
do, Kalia.
person. It is exactly. You're right, Andrea. And another person, they have got someone who's their best friend. Their daughter or their partner is their best friend, and they're not going to give up on them and send them away. And they looking after themselves while they try and help them become realistic about the situation. Others, I've had one woman. She found her husband had been lying to her. She'd noticed his weight loss, and he'd relapsed. And they're on holidays, and a couple of children all set up in a beautiful camping spot. She found out. She found his stash, and she just made a. She gave him back the wedding ring and said, "It's either the marriage and the children and me, or the ice." And
Yep.
I was impressed. I was impressed
And
with her. That took great strength and courage.
it can be tough to do that, and
Hmm.
to get to that point. But realistically, that's the reality, isn't it, Kalia? They have to make a choice.
Sometimes the love has to be extremely tough. And I don't know whether she said it emotionally nasty or whether she said it emotionally balanced and polite. But that's the ultimate hope, that you can say things
Yeah.
with the warm connection with your loved one. But often
Yeah.
people are shocked and hurt, so they lose it at first when they react. But I'm sure this lady, actually, I talked to her quite a few times. She did do it with passion, anger, and upset, but she came back and clarified it and stayed friendly and polite, but firm in her boundary, in her healthy, strong boundary.
That's awesome. Do you have any more
Get,
questions,
get
Leah?
them
No, I
over
Okay.
just
the
love.
finishing line.
Pardon?
It can get them over the finishing line to press that button and get the rehab. And some of them need to stay in there
Yes.
for 6 months, 12 months, to work through their
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, all of us have got things that we're not realistic about, that we've got pain on. We shop, we eat, we gamble, we do all sorts of crazy things. Watch Netflix sometimes just to escape overly. Netflix is
That's
good,
it.
by the way, but overly. And so we all can do with a check into reality and clean up regularly.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. I've learnt so much even just listening to what you've had to say tonight, Kylie. I want to thank you so much for sharing. Sorry it took us a while to get you on. We got you there.
No, it's great. I want to really commend you too, because you're frontline warriors, you're really crusaders, and you're out there. And for all our listeners, I just want you to know that these two girls, they work twice as hard as I do, more, and they are there always for you as well. They're only phone call away, and they're consistent. They're here yesterday, today, and they'll be here tomorrow. Thank you, girls.
Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you,
It's
darling.
together that we achieve more, eh?
Yes.
We love
Yeah,
you and we thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yes. Thank
God
you.
you're
bless you.
welcome.
Speak
Thank you.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Wow, that's awesome. Guys,
What a
I
night.
know it's been a long night,
has.
but we just had so many questions and we're so grateful for the two people. That's Debbie from I Support, sorry, CQ, and in Rockhampton. And her number was on the screen, and Kylie from Let Me Heal You Counselling Services. So they're just two of the people that we work with. We work with all service providers throughout Australia, and the reason we do that, we connect because when Leanne gets a call from families that need support, and she will then refer them to that family support in their local area. And if the call is somebody that's entrapped in ice addiction or in addiction, full stop, then she will call in one of the buddies, one of the presenters, to come and work with the person that's in addiction, help create a pathway into recovery, and just egg them on, and we believe in you. If you're that person that's entrapped in addiction and you're watching this show, there's some parents that were just on the show. They're counsellors and family support people, but they have loved ones that have been through the pain, and I just want to say, think about the pain that you're causing your family. you know, and the hurt that you're causing your mum. You know, she birthed you, she made you, she looked after you, you know, fed you, saw you grow, you know, from this little baby, and you know, now she's seeing you self-destroy with chemicals. There is a better way, guys, and you can actually come out of addiction and have quality of life, and it's worth it. And you're worth it.
You are.
So I just want you to think about that, and you know, if you want to make that decision to change things for the better in your life, we're here.
Yes.
We'd love to chat with you. Okay, our office number at head office is 0756656063.
And the and the mobile is 0481 844 555. And if I don't get you today, look, you know, when you call us, we're a family. We like to see ourselves as a family. We don't give up on you. And I like to say to those that do call in, if you don't hear from someone within 24, 48 hours, please call back. We don't want you to fall between the cracks. You've been pushed from pillar to post too much. We don't want that for you. The amount of people recently that have said to me, OMG, we need something like this. Where have you been? You know, lived experience, real people working in a holistic manner is what this country, what this nation needs, and beyond, I suppose. But we deal one life at a time, and that can have a domino effect.
We can't do miracles either,
No,
Leanne. You know,
no, we
sometimes
cannot.
families
I
like,
wish I could, but it breaks my heart.
how do we get him into rehab? Well, you can't make anybody do something.
No.
You have to work on the boundaries. We have to give you tools to be able to help them get there. Yeah, and we're always happy to chat with them. And you know, to the families out there that we do help, you know, we do work with. We can't make a bed available in a rehab if it's not there.
No, we cannot.
Yeah, so we do our best. You know, we talk to the rehabs. We have, you know, various rehabs we work with, but we can't do miracles. If the rehab is full, we can't just pull somebody out and put your child in there. We want to put everybody in there, trust me. But sometimes we have to fly people interstate. You know, we've flown people from WA to Melbourne for rehab, and you know, from Cairns down to Brisbane. That's not uncommon, but we can't do miracles. So we do the best we can, and so yeah, I just wanted to say that because we have had families, you know, go back. You're supposed to help them, get them into rehab. I know that it's hurting, but you know, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, we hurt with you, but we can't perform miracles, but we do what we can. And you know what? In the meantime, we have our buddies that can help you along. We can get you into detox, outpatient detox. And we can do, I'm trying to create a new service where we can get, while you're waiting for a rehab, just to get away from that lifestyle that has dragged you down with your frenemies. I like that term. I heard that from Ian Jacobs on his testimony. He said, they're your frenemies. You think they're your friend, but they become your enemies. So we've got to get you out of that into some people that want to love you and go to support services and things like that and sponsor you on NA. So
awesome. And we put them on a tripod system of support.
Yes, that's the tripod system of support.
You want to ring up and find out about that.
Yeah,
but if you want to check out Ian Jacobs and our other celebrity ambassadors with Mark Kimbrough, Kevin Campion. So if you want to check out our celebrity ambassadors, go to our YouTube channel and check it out. There's some videos there as well. Until next week, guys, we bid you good night. Leanne, thank you for joining me. Don't mess with meth. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye for now. See ya.